Larry Lee with Brownfield, joined by Jennifer Blazek with the University of Wisconsin system. A lot of changes because of COVID-19, and one of them directly impacts one of your programs, the Farm and Industry Short Course. No students on campus this year. Let's go into some of the details. What prompted that final decision?
Yeah, so what happened was we with COVID happening, we were thinking it's best to make a decision sooner than later, especially with, farmers are in the middle of their haying season, cropping seasons. It just gets really crazy during the summer. So knowing, actually, university just announced their decision as well, which was actually more than a month earlier than we anticipated being. So we decided to make a decision, and being that our program is so residential, so hands-on, that high touch program, it just didn't make sense in this current environment for the safety of the students, their families, our staff, instructors, to be able to offer an in-person program. So in order to offer some kind of FIS, because we didn't want to have a gap year for students who are pursuing that education in agriculture and still being able to offer our high quality education, we wanted to still provide some kind of education. So that's why we went with this online only, which is actually kind of an interesting experiment for the program as well, because we've always been so in person that we've never offered any online to students. So this is kind of a neat way to see if that is even part of the FIS future, is to offer not everything online, but maybe some classes to students who can't come to campus because of farming needs or whatever that is. So yeah, so it's mostly because of the safety and health, and also being so connected to the dean level in CALS, they're involved in conversations at the greater campus level of that things were going to change. And so it was obvious that we probably were going to be up against a lot of challenges anyway, and social distancing, mask requirements, testing, which actually ended up coming out in the plan for greater campus. So it was just a way to anticipate those needs for a different year.
I would imagine that because of COVID and the changes to online, you really can't offer all of the classes you'd like to offer in the Farm
Yeah.
Industry Short Course.
Exactly. That's the challenge of online, because we are so hands-on that, it's hard to replicate working, sticking your hand in a cow online, right? So yeah, unfortunately that meant reducing the courses we could offer and really focusing on the ones that made sense online, like our ag business classes are perfect online, right? They're very applied, so that's not going away. But they don't really have the hands-on as working with crops or cows or those kind of things. And we can still replicate that small group activities and the really high touch of the instructor-student interactions online format. So yes, unfortunately, like reproduction, we can't offer online, and I think students wouldn't want it online. That's what's the benefit of our program, is that it's that working with the herd on campus and getting out into the barn and working with the cows. So in this unique year, difficult year, let's just say, it was a way to still offer our high quality FIS programming and education courses while realizing we couldn't offer some of the ones that are the most popular and the ones that are fun for students, but also require that live animal experience or being in a lab, in like a crops lab or something like that.
I would imagine for the students that take part online this year, it might lighten their class load to come back and finish it up next year.
Yeah, so that's the nice thing, is one of the things that I was really concerned about was that it wasn't just kind of a random group of classes that we were offering. It was actually something that could still help move students towards a certificate if they want. And so yes, so they can move towards that certificate by taking the classes, and then they would finish up actually in fall 21 and finish that certificate and graduate successfully with that. And then the nice thing about online too is we've always had that challenge of a lot of people are interested in our courses, but they're scheduled like college classes, they require coming into campus. And so this way, actually, we'll probably be able to meet the needs of some people who are interested in taking our classes, but couldn't come into class, into campus. They have full-time jobs. So this allows more flexibility to take 1 or 2 classes or all 4 classes that we're offering too, which is nice.
Does this also help the students financially as far as cost of the programs, or maybe because of fewer offerings, it spreads out that total cost over more time?
Yeah, I would say, and especially, so one of the things that students and families love about our program is the residential experience, which is of an extra cost, which will not be this year. So that's a good thing. So it reduces that extra cost, even though that is a a value of the program. And then also our scholarship dollars can go a little further too, because students won't be taking as many credit load this year, and we can kind of reduce that out-of-pocket expense for students and families by using our scholarship dollars. So that's the nice thing, is we still have our, I think every year it's around $200,000+ that is available to us to give out in scholarships. And so we'll still have all of that. And same, everyone who applies gets a scholarship. So the ability to reduce that cost for families is still really a big value of the program.
Any early feedback from potential students about the change to going online?
I mean, most of them are concerned about, not getting that college experience, which is really wrapped up in that residential community building. So that, that was one thing that I recognized. And, I'm going to be sad not to have students on campus either. It's one of the highlights of my year, is that, all throughout the rest of the year, I'm like, oh, it's getting in the middle of it. And then when they're on campus, it's like, oh, this is what I'm working for. So that's what excites me, is getting to work with the students in person, hanging out with them when they're grilling their brats and their burgers and things on campus and all that fun stuff. So that's a disappointment for everyone. I would say we're probably seeing a few more interest by some of our out-of-state students, because we're now online this year, because they wouldn't have been able to come or to spend that time away from their farms or their families. So I think we're seeing a little bit more like, oh, actually now I can participate in this program because it's online. Granted, this is only for this year, so we're going to be back and better than ever starting in 21, if of course the pandemic lets us. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, I think it's a mixed bag of disappointment and concern. I think it helps now that the university put out their plan for this coming year, because it shows that we were probably just ahead of the game, and that even for undergrads and grad students, it's going to look very different and require a whole different level of college experience that most people don't. That's not what they come to college for. But this whole year has kind of thrown everything out of whack for everybody.
I would imagine that when you're looking at the college's overall plan, nothing looks normal, and this is just a way of coping with the virus, and then you hope things get back to normal a year from now. But now let's look at the long term. Do you see the Farm and Industry short course growing next year, or maybe making some changes next year when students come back into the campus?
Yeah, so actually that's one of the positives, I would say, about having this sort of a unique year where we can't run a full program because of COVID. So that really frees up a lot of my time. And that's one of the things I'm going to be reaching out to stakeholders and alumni, because I'm going to be doing some major strategic planning when it comes to this program, because I know that's a lot of concern of the alumni, the students, is, oh, enrollment's been down. Now we're not offering a full program. It's, quote unquote, the end of the program. But actually, this is a really unique and valuable opportunity to spend that time and actually think, okay, what is the future of this? What is it going to look in the future? What are the needs, the changing needs of the industry? What do our students need that we need to readjust, right? Because it can't operate like it did 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. And so now it's that time to be strategic and evolve with the changing times. So there will be some changes. I think it'll be for the better. And I recognize at one level that my job depends on the survival of the program, but it also is more basic than that I really do care about this and the students, and it's a valuable piece of the industry and our culture and history of the Wisconsin that we need to keep. It's just that we need to also realize that change is important and valuable. And so that's definitely something that I've even started now, is like really thinking about, okay, who do we need to get involved? What questions do we need to ask? What does 21 need to look like for us to come back strong and make sure that we can keep the program going?
Perhaps the timing might be perfect, because with Dairy Innovation Hub coming into play, you might be able to work with them on some of those courses and see just where you need to make some changes. So who knows, timing might
definitely. I've already started conversations with Heather and Monica about the natural fits where Fisk and Dairy Innovation Hub can, not compete with each other or overlap in any ways, but collaborate, because they're seeing themselves in one way. And, Fisk has this tradition of more beginning farmer kind of education. So, but then even before COVID happened, I was expanding into other areas like online non-credit or continuing ed type education that we could expand Fisk. So it might just be that we have kind of the Fisk is the core residential program that we all know and love, and then other areas kind of are tangent to Fisk but are related. So yeah, it's definitely, there's I think a bigger need for strategy on in CALS as far as these non-degree seeking programs like Fisk certificate, or the Dairy Innovation Hub is more continuing ed. Even the schools through Center for Integrated Ag Systems, like the Wisconsin School for Being Dairy and Livestock Farmers, you know, where do those all fit in and how do they all relate to each other? So definitely.
So for the students that are looking at the short course this year, any changes in how to enroll or anything they need to know that's different from before?
No, actually, our enrollment process is still the same. We have our own application. It's free. You go in and you fill that out. I'll be making, again, same as always, a rolling admissions decision. The one thing we are asking students is to start helping us to plan for this coming year, is to indicate their interest in which courses they're interested in. Are they thinking about all four, or are they only looking at one? So we can kind of plan on numbers. But otherwise, the application is still the same. I'm always encouraging students, you know, you don't have to be admitted before you apply for scholarships. So get your scholarship applications in right away. We have a lot of money to give. And that is, again, a rolling process that we will be giving out and awarding students. But yeah, pretty much everything else except just the courses. We're offering a fewer number of courses, all online. Same instructors that we always have, that students, you know, they really like those instructors. Same core content of the classes are the same. So yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to add today?
No, just that, I mean, I understand it's a different year for everyone. It is for us too. It's a lot of changes happening on campus and in Fisk. I think it's just a matter of, you know, one thing that is really great in the ag industry is that optimism that, yep, we're in a downturn, but things are going to get better. So I think I'm just trying to remind people to, you know, continue that perception that, yes, things are changing. It's a difficult year, but at least for me, I'm very motivated to keep Fisk going and strong. So, you know, as any kind of input or feedback that I can get from folks, about what they think the industry needs, or the students, or what's valuable about Fisk that we should continue, definitely, I always reach out to me.
Jennifer Blazek with the University of Wisconsin on the Farm and Industry short course. Thanks for joining us today on Brownfield.
Thank you very much.